Kill la Kill is the most nonsensical, most complete sensical anime series I've seen this year. It is over top, it's wacky, but at the same time keeps a very concise story that also makes sense in this world because of what they built up. Now this episode where we break down a series review, I'm gonna jump into it. What's up world? Welcome to another episode where we break down. I'm your host, Zakka. And before I get started, if there's a series you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to as best I can. Also have a Patreon, patreon.com/AliZakka for $2 a month. Get a cut in front of everybody, get your review out way before it comes on Facebook and YouTube. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of Kill la Kill from 2013 that went to 2014. And this series is made by the studio company called Trigger. This is the first time they ever worked on this anime. This is the first one they produced. And Kill la Kill is just phenomenal when it comes to action, music, comedy. Like, I was all in for episode, I would say give me episode 2. No, episode 1. Episode 1, 2 for sure. I was like, okay, this really got me hooked now. Granted, the character designs for a few characters is like, I kind of wish they didn't drew the characters like that, but it's fine. It's fine. Like, how I got into Kill la Kill was actually from 2 different sources. It was Alpha Rad, the Pokemon video YouTube gamer who also games a bunch of other stuff, but in his Pokemon Sun and Diamond Supercut, he kept playing a few songs from Kill la Kill on in his Supercut. And I was like, don't lose your way. That song is catchy. And then there's another song that I was like, okay, I'm gonna go watch it, see what he talks about. He brought up Kill la Kill like multiple times in his review or in his Supercut playthrough. So I would go watch it. And that's what got me hooked. But before that, Ryoko, the main character, she's also on Death Battle fighting, I believe, Shadow. And I remember seeing this and I was like, okay, interesting, but it is what it is. And when finally watching the show, I can get why people love this animation so much and love the show. And I think Totally Not Mark talked about the animation style as well, and one of his reviews, if not was him, was somebody else, maybe Your Mother's Basement, not your, or In Your Mother's Basement, From Your Mother's Basement, whatever his name is, from my mother's basement. Sorry dude, I'm messing your channel up, but I believe he maybe talked about Kill la Kill animation. So I kept hearing good things about it, so decided to watch it. And this 24 one-off series is 24 episode one-off series is solid. It is solid stuff. And if you're not a fan of over the top comedy, over the top animation, over the top action, and then with your fan service, which is literally actually a part of the plot of the story, this show might not work for you. But if you can find yourself getting around the fan service part of it and actually getting indulged into the story, then you'll be like, oh wow, this is actually pretty solid. So as I'm talking about the story, what's the story about? The story is about a girl named Ryoko who is looking for her father's killer. That's who she's looking for. Ryoko is looking for her father's killer, and she come across this girl named Satsuki who is the head of the student council at Honoji Academy. And by the way, the school, which is even more ridiculous, the high school runs the whole city. Like, they run the whole city. Where your ranking is as a student in the school is where your family lives in the town. Like, if your student is a low ranked student, your family lives in a low impoverished area of the low income impoverished area of the town. If you're a student, a high ranking student, you're gonna live nice in the town. So the school runs the city, and not just that, all the other schools across Japan run their cities. So the schools are kind of like a gang in a sense, but at the same time, it's pretty hilarious. But Satsuki is being portrayed as the father killer for Ryoko, so Ryoko's trying to take down Satsuki, and Satsuki's kind of making like a Mortal Kombat chain of fights for Ryoko to go through in order to get to her. So she fights this one person, moves up the ladder to finally get to Sasuke. That is pretty much the premise of Kill la Kill without getting into spoilers. Now, if you haven't seen Kill la Kill, that's where you might want to drop off and go watch it. If you have, I might not get into spoilers in about 3, 2, 1. So this plot gets into way crazier stuff. It comes to find out that the clothes that Ryoko wears and Sasuke is wearing, as a matter of fact, all the other schools, or all the other students in the school are wearing, are made of life fibers, which is an alien life form. And this alien life form is want to get all the humans to wear clothes so it can feed off of them and then pretty much destroy the earth. And Sasuke and Ryoko's mom is pretty much the head honcho of this, and she is trying to drive the world to destruction pretty much. So it ended up turning to a ladder tournament fight. Goku outfit, which is the outfit of the life fiber that the students use to transform, and turned into like an outfit of the week versus a whole world destroying, earth-shattering, galactic fight to save the world. Yeah, it gets out there. And the reason why this worked for me is because the comedy right off the bat and the over-the-top drawnness and animation artwork really set it for anime that can get just out of hand and over the top for no reason. And when it got to that point where life fibers were aliens and then the aliens are now coming over to take over Earth, it was like, you know what, these kids are transforming into outfits that are literally like just ridiculous bodysuits. It's almost like Power Rangers, but if the Power Rangers were less than nothing. Instead of full bodysuits, it was like crop tops, cheeks out, like underwear kind of stuff. Like it's Ryoko and Sasuke's outfit is horrible, really, to think about. Like as far as like the design, and matter of fact, the less clothes they wore, the more powerful they got, because the life fiber outfit they was wearing drinks blood from them. So, or especially Ryoko, her outfit drinks blood from Senkat is his name. He drinks blood from her in order to get powerful, but in order to not drain so much blood, he has to be almost as little as possible, which is like, sure, bro, whoever drew this anime, we knew what you was doing. Anyway, but other kids in there as well, they have outfits where they're really literally wearing little next to nothing. Like there's a bunch of man service in this too, or somebody else called it man. I think it's CBR, whatever his name is. I can't think of his name, or GBR, whatever his name is. He called it man service. But yeah, the fan service in here is not just one sided. You got both guys and girls, and literally it's a whole section in this anime, a whole group of freedom fighters called Nudist Beach, which is nothing but people wearing military like straps, and they're pretty much naked. That's all it is. Matter of fact, I believe I watched this on Netflix, and past episode 10, if not between episode 10 and 13, it literally just says nudity in the title. Like that is all it is for the rating of this anime. It's just nudity in the title. So every episode going forward is literally nudity, which makes sense because you're as a bunch of freedom fighters because of Nudist Beach fighting against clothes. So at that point, like for example, the last episode, everybody is completely naked, and I'm just like, yeah, this makes complete sense in this world I'm watching, because if clothes is the enemy and you have to free yourself from your clothes, I completely get it. I completely get it. And at first, about the fan service, it was like sexual. Like people was like, oh my god, ogling over the characters wearing this outfit. And then it got to the point where like they was just like used to it. And then it got to the point where it was like clothes are the enemy, so we gotta fight clothes. And then it got to the point where they're all just like naked, and just like I get it. I understand. Like it is to the point where like the outfit is no longer an attention point for the characters themselves. It actually became like the outfit was like necessary to fight the bad guys. Like it's the most over the top thing that I've ever seen in explaining right now. Alright, so I kind of been like a little bit all over it, but let's go and get into my likes. I got my phone out here because I made a list of this. Like I made a big list. So my likes for this The animation, I think it's amazing. Like the animation, it was reminded me a bunch of One Punch Man, how it went from serious animation to comedy animation and then back to seriousness. And the show would start with more of a comedy, it would start with a little serious animation, like serious, strong drawing, strong lines, like strong detail, to the goofy comedy stuff, like in the middle of the episode, and then for the end, they get back to like the strong seriousness. It reminds me of like a lot of plots. The early episodes of Kill la Kill remind me a lot of plots of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. How the characters are playing around, something happens, it goes from comedy to seriousness to the end, and Yugi, not Yugi, but Jaden Yuki has to fight the character in a serious battle and then go back to comedy. That's what this kind of reminds me of. Those kind of beats that you've seen in other animes, you're going to see in this when it comes to comedy, to seriousness, back to comedy, back to seriousness. But the drawing style changed it too. It wasn't the same drawing style for a comedy skit. It was more of a, when it came to comedy, it came for like soft lines, more rounded characters, rounded facial features. And then it came to seriousness, it came to more like serious lines, straight like edge facial features, where it wasn't like a rounded circle for a face, but more of a straight jawline drawing and more of a serious focus intensity for characters. Sasuke is one of my favorite characters, and she is like pretty much drawing that straight animation, straight edge seriousness, no rounded face, no rounded goofiness. She is serious at all times. But then you get like Mako, who is just goofy, and her design is completely different from Sasuke. She's more of a goofy character, but it doesn't feel out of place. It actually works in this anime. I just kind of talk about this next thing is characters, which, yeah, the characters, one thing I did love about characters is they always show somebody on a high ground and low ground. Like if somebody had the upper advantage, they would show like bigger than the other person, and like it would show like getting bigger, like some kind of like Power Rangers kind of thing, where the character's like legit like standing over somebody and like the shadow like expands. It is such a cool design. And then if you're watching and you notice when things shift, if the main character or the character got into position of power, they would do the same thing and go back and forth, and then they have them on equal ground. I like the play of like the whole like I got the advantage, I have the high ground, and you make the character look bigger than what they really are. It's a super cool thing that it stood out to me as a trope that's done over and over again, but it just made it work in this anime. Like I was like, okay, I'm catching it. And then as far as story's another thing that I enjoy in this. The story, they would drop nuggets throughout the story about how characters feel, how characters do things, what characters do about each other, and those things actually come back around to manifest itself at the end of a certain episode or a few episodes later. There's an example where Mako says that, like, not Mako, but Ryoko says that Mako can talk her out of things to kind of like, you know, be her, just calm her down when she's upset. And there's a scene where Ryoko loses it and Mako's the only one who can get to her. Like, that nugget was dropped in episode like 8 or 9. And it didn't manifest itself to episode 12 or 13. I thought it was great. I thought it was neat. And then the plot twist in here, I didn't see it coming at all. I had no idea. I was like, oh, that's where we're going with this. Neat. I'm down for the ride. Let's do this. Like, it is such a interesting, well-written anime that the plot and storyline had me hooked. And it was like some of the best things I enjoyed about this. The storyline, it was consistent and it felt rushed. It felt like it was fleshed out, like they took time and put, like, okay, how are we gonna get to this part? How are we gonna get there? They knew how crazy and wacky and insane this anime is, but you can still make it make sense. And I think that's what I enjoy so much about this anime, is that they, you know, how crazy and over the top, it still felt like it was, in this world they was in, it made sense. The music and soundtrack is another thing that I love. The music, the OST for this show is on point. Don't Lose Your Way, which is like Ryoko's theme song, I thought it was great. Anytime she's about to have a moment, that song played and you're like, oh my gosh, here we go. It's kind of like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Like anytime that song comes, like, don't lose your way. Like, I enjoy that song playing. And then not just that song, like when Sasuke's theme plays, when she shows up and then her versus Ryoko, it's like, this epic like Dragon Ball Z like earth-shattering fight happens. You're like, oh my gosh, like town buster, like explosion craters. Like the soundtrack that plays for that is amazing as well. The music in this show is really good. It is really on point, and it hits you and enjoy it. Like, it's some good stuff. Dislikes. Fan service is probably the biggest dislike that I will have, and most people will have with this anime. The fact that you have your main characters are literally wearing like skimpy outfits, which I found myself like, okay, I'm trying to like look myself past this, but at the same time it was kind of distracting. I'm just like, they could have gave her something else. And then when you see, for example, Junkets, which is what Sasuke wears, when her mother wears the outfit and Ryoko actually wears the outfit later, the outfit changes to that person, which actually made no sense because it actually had more clothes on them than when it was on Sasuke. And I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. But I guess the full synchronization, only Sasuke can really synchronize with it more. So that's why hers, the less power, the less clothes she had on, the more power she got. And they wasn't as powerful because they had more clothes. It's the most stupid concept ever. And I'm just like, okay, could y'all at least make this, that'll give more, like give them more clothes. Like finally I have a female protagonist that I feel like can kick butt in your face, doesn't care, doesn't have a love relationship. She is all over, like she is like about what she wants and want to get what she want to get. But then you have her in this outfit and you're just like, we're almost there. It's almost there. It's almost there. But then again, you have the other characters, like the nudist beach characters, who one dude, the main guy, his nipples are glowing at all time, and then where the light, where his privates are at, it's like a lens flare, like down where his privates, and then down where his nipples are at, and you're just like, oh boy. And every moment they got to draw him, he was always trying to take off something, and he's part of nudist beach, and he's a rebel, and he doesn't wear clothes. So every moment he was trying to take his clothes off and do these over-the-top exaggeration for taking his clothes off, and you're just like, brah, we get it. We get it. And there's scenes where like I was literally watching it, I couldn't, toward the end of the series, I know he was there. I just kept laughing at it. I was like, why? Why do they feel like they have to make this thing happen? Like even scenes I'm supposed to take seriously, I can't take seriously because this dude is literally have lens flares on his nipples. But not just the women though, but the guys are also the same way. They also get like their man service, or not man service, but the fan service for the guys is there too. Like, I heard one of the guys say one of the reviewers say man service, and it's stuck in my mind. But it's fan service. Like the guys also get stripped down. They also reveal everything and transform, and the whole anime transformation with butt naked. Like it's all there. So it's not one-sided fan service. It's both sides. So I can't really be super upset because most time fan service is one-sided and just like, look at the women. No, this one's like, in this world, this is what it is. Like, nudist is everywhere. Just deal with it. And I was like, it makes sense in the anime I'm watching. It's not like, oh, we only bring her on here because she's a woman and she's gonna be our fan service character. No, it's like, okay, the dude that nobody cares about, who's kind of stinky, he's gonna have his transformation moment with no clothes on and transform his body. And you're just like, all right, I'm down with this. Like, it's equal across the boards. Okay, but the fan service in this show is super over the top, and you just gotta be like, if you can get past that and actually appreciate the story, you're gonna be fine with this. As somebody who watched Game of Thrones, yeah, I was fine with that. Pervy nature is another thing I didn't like. I didn't like the pervy nature of the mother and the teacher. Like there's some jokes that put me like pervy jokes, like this is the pervy character. Those jokes don't land, and when it wasn't a joke, it was more of a serious tone. That just didn't land. I was just like, to me, I feel like not everybody will really be bugged by that, but for me, I was bugged by that. I'm just like, and I guess one of it's to show that Kirsten's a very despicable person, and the other one is like, oh, he's a goofy character. And it's like, no, it's not. That's not goofy. That's just not good at all. It's not good to write into your show. And then towards the end there are a few plot points where like Ryoko gets upset as Sunket's Senketsu, she gets upset Senketsu, which is her outfit, and she's like, I don't want to wear any more outfits. I'm done fighting. I just want to fight with myself and handle this. But then when she gets turned into a bad guy and it comes back as a good guy, she easily throws on Senketsu and they go into Senketsu, sorry, not Senketsu, but Senketsu, and they go into battle. And I was like, what happened to your arc there where you was like, upset at him and then just like, I don't want to wear you anymore. I'm not gonna wear clothes. And then I guess she came to a realization that clothes and are her friends, and or Senketsu is a friend, and so is Mako. So therefore, she was like, "All right, sure, I'll throw you back on." And I get there's a moment where Mako and Senketsu are talking to Ryoko in her mind, but at the same time, I was just like, I feel like they tied it up too quick. That's all I want to nitpick. But other than that, I was fine. It's fine. Okay, let's go and get to the cast and creators. Kill la Kill was made by Trigger and the first and produced by them. It was directed by Hiroyuki Imaishi and written by Kazuki Nakashima. Nakashima. They both worked on, a lot of people talk about Gurren Lagann. Well, they both worked on Gurren Lagann, so a lot of people like relate this anime to that one. You watch other people review of this and the artwork animation style of it. And then 2014, Annie Plex, they kind of worked on it, and that's how you got it on Toonami. That's how you got it on Netflix. I watched this on Netflix, all 24 episodes, each one 25 minutes long. And on top of that, it will be rated, they said rated TV 14. To me, this is more rated TV MA. Like, there's gore in there's blood splattering everywhere. Like, if what you're watching for Game of Thrones is what you're gonna be watching for Kill la Kill. Like, that is how it should be. Like, TV 14, no, I don't think I would want a kid watching this anime. Nah, not a 14-year-old. Game of Thrones, like, I'm gonna ask my 18 over to watch this one. Yeah, 18 over to watch Kill la Kill as well. Like, there's so much going on. This is not TV 14. Like, Dragon Ball Z, TV 14, younger than that, can watch it. Yu Yu Hakusho, younger than that. But this right here, no. Literally, like I said, last episode, literally people are just butt naked everywhere. Granted, as far as drawing the details of it, like, you don't see, nobody in the anime has, besides the teacher, nobody else has nipples. He's the only one with nipples. Everybody else don't have nipples. Holy crap. Like, you ever watch certain animes, like, where they draw somebody with no shirt on, like, they don't have nipples, it's just, like, the chest drawing? This anime is one of those animes, except for one character, and that's why his nipples are always shining. God dang it. It makes complete sense now. Wow, this is such a wacky show. Anyway, let's go and get into characters. You got Ryoko, who... I enjoy Ryoko. She is definitely one of the best characters in this anime. Like, in anime period. Like, she is hard-nosed, in your face, doesn't care, want to get what she wants to get, and she also rushes into battle a lot of times, and then kind of like learn about what her problem, like learn her lessons from doing that. But she's such a strong character, strong female lead, strong protagonist, and I wish they would have put her. I wish she was another anime where she didn't have to wear a skimpy outfit and just wear, like, maybe she'll wear a schoolgirl outfit. That's fine. Like, fight on that. Like, she is such a strong character that I really appreciate anime that actually has a strong female protagonist, and she doesn't literally have a love interest. I like that. I like the fact that majority of this anime wasn't her pining for some guy. She was trying to find her father's killer. Like, I thought that was amazing to have, that you have a female character where her story wasn't based around love, but based around her revenge story and her story of trying to get to the bottom of it, which the path of revenge kind of led her in trouble a few times, and she had to rely on her friends to get her out of trouble. But I actually like that it wasn't a love story for a female protagonist. It was like, and there was no love interest in this. It was literally just like her kicking butt and we're going all in. And you can make a argument for Mako, but I felt like the love interest, it wasn't really a love interest thing. And then you watch the final episode and see what happened between Mako and Ryoko. You're just like, okay, that's what you call a date, just hanging out with friends, sure. Even though the drawing in there where she kisses Mako in her head was like, oh, Okay, but anyway, Mako, let's talk about her, by the way. She is probably one of the most comic relief characters in this show. In every episode, I got to the point because she has a moment in every episode where she goes like this, and Hallelujah plays. Oh my God! It's this. And hers like speaking her knowledge and her mindset into what's going on, and a lot of people will listen to her even though she has no reason for being in this fight or being in the situation, but because she stands up and interjects and be so upfront in your face about it and gets what she wants, people will listen to Mako, and like even people who shouldn't listen to her, they be like, what are you talking about? Oh, sure, all right, cool. So Mako's comedy, she's the comic relief character in the show, and at first you thought she was gonna be over the top comedy, but then she actually starts to make sense as well with her comedy, and she works just as fine. Anytime you need a moment of like relief for what's going on, Mako interjects and adds a little taste of comedy to it and levity to the show. I thought Mako's a great character. A little times she's over the top and you're kind of like, all right, Mako, we get it. But then there's time where it's like, okay, she's cool, and her family's the same way. They're also there. They're more comic relief, but then they also add pieces to the show where they actually help supporting people, not just being the comic relief character. Sasuke Ewing. Sasuke is probably one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite antagonists for a show. She's a character who's strong-nosed, thought her will and her way is the right way to go, and actually learns over the show how to arc. They're like, no, you can rely on your friends. You can trust your friends. It's not just your way or the highway. It's trusting everyone, not just it's her and that's it. And I love that. I love that Sasuke has that moment and learns to like trust others and actually be open to people and not just a hard-nosed, I gotta put my shield up to get what I want to defeat my mother. And speaking of Sasuke, she has a group called the Elite Four, which I'm not going to name each individual one of them, but the Elite Four is a good group of characters to have, a good group of characters who stay around the whole time. They're not just goofy characters, they're also serious characters too, who are pretty cool and powerful in their own right. And they are a great group to have on this show. Sunkets, who I talked about so much, he is the outfit that Ryoko wears. He is the alien life form that lives off life fibers, and he is a living life fiber himself, but he was made in the lab to defeat life fibers. Once the story gets revealed, you can watch the whole thing, you learn what his backstory is, but he is a goofy character in his own right. At first, he kind of seemed like the mentor character to Ryoko and kind of help her calm down, but then he becomes more of an emotional character and kind of like, I miss her, and kind of, they become good friends, really. Like, at the end of the show, there's a line between Sunkets and Ryoko where they're like, we're neither clothes nor human, but we're also human and we are clothes, and human are humans and clothes are clothes. And the main villain goes, that's complete nonsense, and they're like, it's all nonsense, which is pretty much the whole purpose of the show. That is complete. That line at the end of the series is complete, just perfection and epitomize and the epitome of the show, and embodize, that's not even the word I'm looking for now, embodies what the show is. That line there is what Kill la Kill really is. But Sunkets is a goofy character. It's amazing as well. The teacher, who is Ayuko, I think I pronounced his name right. He was the head of Nudist Beach, and there's a time where he's an expedition dump for the characters in the show, and he goes over the top as well. It's a little goofy, a little comic relief, and doesn't really get taken seriously. Like, I feel like he never really did anything. Like, he helped get the crew where they need to go and get police people where they need to be. But as far as the impact, besides being exposition, he didn't really make that much of an impact. But he's there as a supporting character majority of the show. And then the last person I want to talk about, Ryoko Ewing, who is the big bad in the show. She's pretty much the big bad. That's what she is. She is Sasuke's mother, and she's like, I'm going to dominate everything. Pervy mother character who believe her will is the way and everybody else is suffering. And she's literally a generic villain in the show. That's what she is. But she doesn't populate until like the last, or shows up into the last, like, what, 10 episodes? Maybe 15 episodes. Like, she shows up towards the end, last 10 really, shows up towards the, not the end, but middle of the anime on back. So like, she is your big bad. That's what she is. Any other thoughts? I don't have any more thoughts. I think the show is funny to watch, phenomenal to watch. It was a great time. I had fun with it. Like, I enjoyed it. Is this a binge-worthy anime? Yeah, it's a binge-worthy anime. I was always intrigued to watch the next episode to see what's going to happen next and see how it plays off. I would say that certain episodes had like a certain ending that was like really down and like sad, and then it had an upbeat song at the end of it. I thought it was hilarious, but no, it's a really great anime to watch and binge. So yes, this is a binge-worthy anime. You can binge-worthy this one and watch it anytime. Is it a Friday night anime? Yeah, it's an anime you can watch on Friday night as well. Grading time. I'm going to grade Kill la Kill from 2013. I'm going to grade this anime an A-. It gets an A- from me. And the reason why this show gets an A- is because of the animation, because of the comedy, because of the action, because of the characters themselves when it comes to the main crew. The negatives about it is the fan service. The fan service got some very big negative points. There's some little plot holes that bothered me towards the end, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. And Ryoko, who is the main big bad, she's a generic bad guy. But everybody else, Sasuke and Honoji Academy, who's the main antagonist for majority of the show, they did a good job, and their individual characteristics and styles just really make the anime over the top. And then the jarring animation with it, and how you have a main character who's not based on some boy crazy stuff or some love interest. It's just like her want to get revenge for what happened to her family, and she's going all out. Like, I love that. Like, this anime was fun, it was goofy, I was invested into the storyline. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. The OST, the classical music that was in this as well. There's classical soundtracks in this from like Beethoven and Mozart are thrown into this anime. Then mixed in with the newer like upbeat songs that don't lose your way. It's a phenomenal anime. It's complete nonsensical, complete sensical at the same time. It worked for me. I'm giving Kill la Kill an A-. It's a good anime to watch as long as you can get through the whole gore and nudist stuff. But other than that, it's fine. That is my review of Kill la Kill. What did you think? You seen Kill la Kill? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys in the next episode when we break down series review. Keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.